Okay. So, today we start a new link. We're doing mission 3. By the way, mission 2 took me till this morning to figure out they tricked me. The guilds were not included. I just had to throw those out to get it done. So everything else was right. And let me put up here so you guys can follow along. Where is it? That's that one. All right. That's going to come up there. I also need, all right, so number 3, let's look at the sheet. How many sheets do I have up? Okay, so for the first part today, oh no, it's only asking one question. Is this it? No. Yeah, this is it. So according to this video, why would evolution not be possible with genetic mutations? All right. So so we are going to click on the third one. And we have a new video here. Oops. Darwin came back today. Hold on. I want to do it here. You guys at home, if you're watching this, play the video. So here it is.
If Darwin came back today, what would he be most excited by in modern science? I think it would be the whole world of genetics. That's the answer to all the big questions he had. How does variation emerge? And how could that be transmitted?
Let's return to our brown bears stranded in the Arctic to consider the impact of genetics on our understanding of evolution. Each bear is made up of cells, and if we take a brown bear cell and tunnel into its nucleus, we find DNA, the molecule with the genetic instructions for building, in this case, a brown bear, written in a 4-letter code. Now, the thing about DNA, it's not perfect. When it's copied, mistakes get made. Mutations, in other words, that sometimes affect an organism's traits and that sometimes can be passed from parent to offspring. So the variation at the heart of evolution, it's genetic variation. Slight differences in DNA that, for example, could make some bears a bit lighter in color, a bit more insulated against the cold, and a bit more capable of digesting fattier foods like seals.
Evolution is essentially any change in the genetic composition of a population.
Mutations are random, so they're not always helpful. But the bears with mutations that gave them some advantage for Arctic living survived and reproduced more often than bears without them. They passed the genes responsible for those adaptations onto their cubs. Over generations, more bears inherited and elaborated on these and other changes in the DNA. The eventual result, a polar bear. And when we tunnel into its cells, we find polar bear DNA. These days, most scientists use DNA sequences to build phylogenetic trees of living organisms. Their analyses get complicated fast because DNA can mutate rapidly and unpredictably throughout the genome. So we've simplified things for our puzzles. Use the magnifying glass to compare the actual DNA of different species. We've selected small fragments from much longer sequences for you to analyze. The numbers beneath the DNA sequences correspond to the position of each nucleotide. Instead of using physical traits as we did in previous puzzles, we're using nucleotides and their corresponding position numbers. Often, one of the species will be what's called an outgroup. You can think of it as the reference to compare all the other species against. So it goes to one side of the tree. And here's the basic rule.
The more closely related two species are, their DNA is also going to be very similar.
And the more time that's passed from when two species split off from one another, the more time there's been for mutations to accumulate. So the more different the DNA will be. Think of DNA as the raw material that, across billions of years, evolution has molded and built into countless forms of life. We are all related, tied to one another by the most spectacular of double helical threads.
Okay. So let's go back to that question. According to this video, why would evolution not be possible with genetic mutations? I think that should say without. Not be possible. Well, I would say changes of preferred aspects for survival. That's the whole point. All right, so then we have mission 1, which is frogs' legs and fish eggs. To which species is a frog more closely related? The cichlid or the cloacanth? That's an ancient, well, probably the cloacanth because it's so ancient. Which let me show you. Where am I? Hold on 1 second. Classwork. We're on 3. I was wrong. It's a type of fish. And this is a picture of it. And is this it? No. This is it. Let's look at this one. No, we don't want that. Oh, here, this fish is pretty. So, the first fish is looks like rocks that can hide in its environment, so it's good for survival. Whereas this one is so colorful, I don't think it can hide well. All right, so let's start our froggy. Here we go. All right, so we've got 3 things here. How hard can it be? All right, so frog first. Oh, no, it wants me to do the DNA. All right, here is our frog. It is an African species. It can live in many places. They share many similarities with humans, which is why Western clawed frog embryos are used in biomedical research. So here is a species comparison. Let's not go there. Let's look at the fish. So this is a Midas oculid. Midas, of course, is the Greek king who everything he touched turned to gold. And what color are these fish? I guess gold, like goldfish. These come from Central America. And look at his head. Look at that word. Here's a new word. You know, bulbous. Bulbous head. Most of them are orange, that have been domesticated, it says. If you find them in the wild, they're brown or gray. Now, here's that ugly fish. This comes from the West Indian Ocean. We thought they went extinct, 65 million years ago. Anybody know what happened 65 million years ago? No? That's when the asteroid hit the Earth that killed the dinosaurs. They discovered that this was actually still alive in 1938. So scientists believe that the coelacanths were the closest living relative to four-limbed animals. So I guess what they're hypothesizing is that this is like one of the last fish in the ocean before, fishies started climbing out of the ocean onto land. All right, so here is our DNA, and this clothacant matches our frog. All right, so now let's put it together. I just did. Okay. So we have the cyclicant. No. So all three have C in position 2, and the frog and the clothacant have it in position 3, and yay, we got through it. So the frog is more closely related. The frog is more closely related to the coelacanth. All right. All right. So, let me just quickly. Where's my? So we want to take this. All right, so the DNA sequence of the clothecant is more closely related. So now, tomorrow, we do one fish, two fish, red fish, lungfish. All right, so I am going to